but I told you pop out. You at the club. What's the she wanna fuck and that's not maneuver. Bitch, she a loser. Only hate with the demons and Uda. I should feel so the game trying to do.
Miss her so much.
Her tears run deep after losing her 19-year-old daughter, Somaya Spain. This cell phone video obtained by Pix 11 News shows the moment Spain and her twin sister, Sanaya, were brutally attacked. That's Somaya apparently being stabbed in the chest and neck.
On March 17, 2024, 19-year-old twin sisters were brutally attacked just outside the Slope Natural Plus Deli in Park Slope, Brooklyn. The tragic incident unfolded after the sisters turned down the unwanted advances of a man inside the store. That man, later identified as 20-year-old V.O. Kelly, reportedly became hostile when one sister refused to give him her phone number. After being thrown out of the deli, Kelly waited outside for the sisters. As they left the store, he confronted them once again. What followed was a horrifying scene. Kelly fatally stabbed one sister in the chest and neck, and the other one suffered a stab wound to her arm. Just 5 days later, on March 22, 2024, Kelly turned himself in to authorities. He now faces charges of murder, assault, and criminal possession of a weapon. In court, he entered a plea of not guilty. His lawyer claims he acted in self-defense, pointing to surveillance footage that allegedly shows Kelly being assaulted by several people before the fatal encounter. The case quickly drew widespread attention and sparked public outrage, shining a light on the ongoing issue of violence against women, especially in instances where women are harmed for simply rejecting unwanted advances. Vigils and protests were held throughout the community to honor her memory, with many demanding better protection and respect for women's safety and autonomy. She is remembered as a bright and spirited young woman who had dreams of going to college. Her funeral brought together heartbroken family members, friends, and supporters from the community, all of whom mourned her life cut tragically short and called for justice. This is the heartbreaking story of Somaya Spain, a 19-year-old young woman whose life was tragically cut short when she was stabbed in the heart and neck simply for not giving out her phone number. The attacker, 20-year-old V.O. Kelly, was a complete stranger to her before that fateful night. Somaya and her twin sister, Sanaya, had just left a party and were on their way home when they stopped at a deli, where they encountered Kelly for the first time. He approached them and asked for their contact information, but they politely declined. In an attempt to be kind, Somaya even offered him her Instagram handle instead, but Kelly became visibly upset by the rejection. Fueled by anger and unable to handle the refusal, Kelly pulled out a large knife and attacked both sisters. In a horrifying moment, he stabbed Somaya in the heart and neck, killing her instantly. Sanaya, her twin, was also wounded, stabbed in the arm during the violent outburst. All of this happened because they chose not to give a stranger their phone numbers, a decision that no one should ever lose their life over.
You not attacking me, nigga. Fuck that talking. Fuck that talking. Who the fuck? I'm too drunk to this shit, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Fuck you, man. You cry. What is nigga doing about ugly? Bro, let's go. Let's go. I'm on love this shit.
That's it, yeah.
This story takes us to Park Slope, a neighborhood in western Brooklyn, New York. Known for being one of the safest areas in the borough, Park Slope has a crime rate significantly lower than the national average. Born and raised in Brooklyn, where Somaya Spain, a 19-year-old, called this place home. She was a twin, and her sister Sanaya wasn't just family, she was her best friend. The two were inseparable, doing everything together and sharing a bond only twins can truly understand. Somaya had a vibrant spirit that touched everyone around her. Described by those who knew her best as sweet, lively, and full of energy, she had a way of lighting up any room she entered. Her laughter was contagious, her smile unforgettable, and her presence something people naturally gravitated toward. Whether she was spending time with her family, goofing around with friends, or pursuing her personal passions, Somaya lived life with an open heart and a joyful soul. By the way, if you like the way we present these stories or if true crime cases are your kind of thing, please like the video and consider subscribing to the channel for more stories for you. Though she was still young, Somaya had already begun carving her own path. She was said to be a model, capturing beauty and confidence in front of the camera with grace. Her interest in music also played a big part in her life, She had a creative streak that reflected her fun, carefree personality. She didn't just live life, she celebrated it. Whether it was dancing with friends, posing for photos, or sharing laughs during family dinners, Somaya made the most of every moment. Her twin sister Sia was her closest confidant and lifelong partner in everything. The two were inseparable, sharing not just a birthday but countless memories, secrets, and dreams. Their bond was more than just sibling love, it was a soul connection. They supported each other in everything and were often seen side by side, bringing double the energy and double the light to any room they walked into. Somaya was deeply loved by everyone around her. Friends described her as genuine, caring, and always full of life. She was the kind of person who made people feel seen and heard, someone who gave hugs that made you feel safe, and who always knew how to make others laugh, even on the hardest days. Her joyful spirit made her unforgettable, and her presence left a lasting impression on everyone she met. But tragically, all of this, the warmth, the laughter, the plans for the future, came to a devastating end. A young life filled with so much promise was cut short in the most senseless way. The world lost not just a daughter, a sister, and a friend, but a truly special soul whose story should have continued for decades to come. Somaya Spain will always be remembered not just for the heartbreaking way her life ended, but for the beautiful way she lived it. Her memory lives on in the hearts of her family, especially her parents and her twin sister Sia, and in the countless lives she touched in her short but impactful time on Earth. On the night of March 17, 2024, what began as a normal evening out with friends turned into a tragedy that no one could have imagined. Somaya Spain, a vibrant 19-year-old with a bright future ahead of her, had gone to a party with her twin sister, Sanaya, and some close friends. After enjoying the evening, they decided to call it a night and head home. It was around 2 a.m. when they made a quick stop at a local deli to grab something to eat before going back to their house, just a short walk away on Nevin Street in the Park Slope neighborhood of Brooklyn. Inside the deli, located near the corner of St. Mark's Place and 4th Avenue, the sisters encountered a young man named Vio Kelly, 20 years old. At first, the exchange seemed casual. He complimented both Somaya and Sanaya. But things took a darker turn when he asked for their phone numbers. The sisters, not feeling comfortable giving out such personal information to a stranger, politely declined. In an effort to de-escalate the situation, Somaya even offered him her Instagram handle instead, a gesture of friendliness without overstepping her own boundaries. But that wasn't enough for Kelly. He grew agitated and insisted on getting her phone number. When the sisters continued to stand their ground, refusing to give in to his demands, Kelly's attitude shifted dramatically. He began hurling insults at them and stormed out of the deli. Unfortunately, that wasn't the end of it. Moments later he returned, this time not just with words but with a threat. He told them he could stab them. The deli owner intervened and forced Kelly to leave the store, but he didn't go far. Instead, he waited outside, lurking nearby as the girls finished their purchase and prepared to leave. As soon as Somaya and Sanaya stepped outside, the situation turned deadly. In a brutal and unprovoked attack, Kelly lunged at them with a large knife. He stabbed Somaya in the chest, piercing her heart, and in her neck. Sanaya, trying to defend her sister and herself, was also stabbed in the arm during the chaos. The attack was fast, violent, and left the sisters reeling in shock and pain. After the assault, Kelly fled the scene, disappearing into the night as bystanders rushed to help. Emergency services were quickly called. Sanaya was taken to the hospital for treatment of her injuries, which thankfully were not life-threatening. But for Somaya it was too late. Despite the efforts of first responders, she was pronounced dead at the scene. Her life taken in an instant over something as simple and innocent as refusing to give her phone number to a stranger.
Well, an unimaginable heartbreak for a family tonight after 19-year-old twin sisters were both stabbed in Park Slope early this morning. One of the sisters tonight has succumbed to her injuries.
The tragedy of that night continues to haunt those who loved Somaya. Her murder wasn't just senseless. It was a heartbreaking reminder of how dangerous rejection can be for women and how quickly a peaceful moment can spiral into something unimaginable. Her family, friends, and community now mourn a young woman who had so much promise, so much love to give, and a life that should have continued far beyond that night.
I miss her so much. Those were deadly points that he punctured in her body, that even if she fought it, I don't think she could have won the fight.
LaShawn Goodson is more than heartbroken, thinking about the death of her daughter, but how she died.
Didn't want to be bothered. Why did she have to die? Because you're not who she want to be accompanied by. Walk away. Don't hit on no girl. Don't fight no female, no matter what. Go on about your business. My daughter Sanaya was arguing with the guy in my daughter's defense outside, and he stabbed her and she went to the floor. And at that very moment, Somaya went to attack him and he stabs her in the heart, and when she went down, he stabs her in the neck.
While this mother tries to deal with her grief,
the community shared with reporters that the tragedy unfolded in the early hours of Sunday morning in Park Slope, Brooklyn. Somaya Spain and her twin sister, Sanaya, had stopped by a neighborhood deli to grab some food when they were approached by two men who made unwanted advances. The sisters politely declined, but that simple rejection took a dark and deadly turn. One of the men became increasingly aggressive. The situation escalated to the point where the deli owner had to lock the doors to keep him out. Believing the danger had passed, the sisters eventually stepped outside. But the man was still there, waiting. He stabbed Sanaya in the arm and then turned his rage on Somaya, stabbing her in the heart and neck. She collapsed on the sidewalk just steps from her home and tragically died at the scene. The community has been left heartbroken.
If you knew the twins for 19 years of their life, no one deserves to lose a child. She did not deserve that. She did not deserve that. That mom will never be the same.
Dad Stephen is lost. Those are his twins, those are his babies. Hey, she don't want to give you her number, or she gave you her Instagram. That still don't give a reason to kill her. And she would like to thank the detectives on the case. 7-8 got a good team for homicide, and they did their job. They did their job, and I thank them from the bottom of my heart.
A memorial now stands at the spot where Somaya lost her life, a reminder of her light and a symbol of collective grief. The message echoed through the neighborhood is clear and firm: no means no. Women deserve to live without fear.
She's taking it real hard. You know, you never expect nothing like this to happen. What are you gonna do?
Alfonso Goodson is facing a level of grief he never imagined he'd feel after getting a sobering call Sunday about his granddaughter, 19-year-old Somaya Spain.
Said, Granddaddy, Somaya got stabbed and she died. You know.
What was your reaction?
I couldn't believe it. My wife started crying and everything.
In the days following Somaya's senseless murder, shock and sorrow spread quickly. The brutality of the attack stunned everyone who heard the story. Videos of the incident began circulating online, fueling public outrage and amplifying calls for justice. Friends, family members, and even strangers spoke out, unwilling to let her story fade quietly. Under the growing weight of community pressure and the viral attention on the case, the man responsible, 20-year-old V.O. Kelly, surrendered to police. He was taken into custody and charged with the murder of Somaya Spain, finally bringing a small step toward the justice her loved ones so desperately seek. The arrest happened just blocks away from where the brutal stabbing had taken place.
A man has been charged with the murder of a 19-year-old woman. Police say she was stabbed to death outside a bodega in Brooklyn when she refused to give him his number.
He absolutely did that today. He showed up here at the 7A precinct. He turned himself in, and he had his lawyer with him at the time. Now, the 19-year-old victim and her twin sister, they were together last Sunday, and that is when she was stabbed to death. And police say the reason he did it is because she rejected him.
As news spread, heartbroken friends, neighbors, and community members gathered outside the police precinct. They came hoping to catch a glimpse of Kelly, perhaps looking for a sense of closure, perhaps simply trying to make sense of an unthinkable act. It was a deeply emotional moment, watching the man responsible for taking Somaya's life being taken into custody. As part of the investigation, a search warrant was executed at Kelly's residence on Hancock Street. Investigators found clothing believed to have been worn during the attack, which could serve as key evidence in the case. However, the murder weapon, the knife used to kill Somaya, still had not been found at the time. What made the situation even more troubling were the revelations about Kelly's past. He wasn't a first-time offender. In July 2023, he had been accused of violently attacking his 18-year-old ex-girlfriend at the Pier 25 Marina in Lower Manhattan. The assault left her injured, and Kelly was later arrested and charged with second-degree robbery and second-degree attempted gang assault. Just a few months later, in September, he was arrested again, this time for attacking another woman in Far Rockaway. These incidents painted a disturbing pattern of aggression and violence, particularly toward women. One of Somaya Spain's close friends, Manisha Gibbs, took to Facebook to express her sorrow and support for the grieving family. She wrote, "Sending my deepest condolences to the family of Somaya Spain. She and her twin sister were attacked, and tragically, Somaya was fatally injured. One of my own twins is named Somaya, and reading that story hit me especially hard. It's heartbreaking. I'm so sorry that this world can be so cruel." Her words reflect the deep emotional impact the tragedy has had, not only on those who knew Somaya personally but also on others who saw parts of their own lives and loved ones in her. In addition, her cousin Yeshia Lyles shared a deeply emotional tribute, also on Facebook, saying, "Cousin, I haven't been posting anything because I don't want to deal with the reality of you really not being here with us. I don't even know where to start. One thing I do know is that your grandmother is happy to have you with her. We love you and will never forget you. You will be remembered by everyone. Watch over us. I'm really in disbelief. Somaya Spain." Nisha's message is filled with raw emotion and reflects the depth of pain that her family is going through. It shows how difficult it is to accept that someone so young, loved, and full of life is suddenly gone. The impact of Samaya's death is deeply felt across friends and family alike, and their messages serve as a heartbreaking reminder of how senseless violence leaves ripples of grief behind. The events of March 17, 2024, followed a familiar but tragic trajectory. Kelly had left a party hall just down the street and encountered Somaya and her sister at a nearby deli. After they turned down his unwanted advances and refused to give him their phone numbers, his behavior escalated quickly. What started as verbal harassment turned physical and then deadly. Unable to accept a simple no, he took a life. In the wake of Samaya's death, her community gathered to honor her with a vigil, a space to grieve, to reflect, and to demand change. Her death struck a painful chord not just because of its brutality, but because it symbolized something much bigger: the frightening reality many women face when rejecting unwanted attention. The idea that someone could be killed simply for choosing not to give out their contact information is heartbreaking and unacceptable. This case has left a mark that won't be easily erased. It's almost too tragic to believe, something that should never have happened. But as painful as it is, it must become a wake-up call. Women have every right to say no. Rejection is not a reason for violence. It never has been and it never will be. Vio Kelly remains in police custody as the legal system moves forward. Meanwhile, Samaya's loved ones continue to mourn and fight for the justice she deserves. Our deepest condolences go out to her family and friends. May her memory live on as a blessing, and may her story inspire change. Change that protects young women from facing violence simply for asserting their boundaries. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Truth and Crimes. We truly appreciate you taking the time to watch and explore this heartbreaking case with us. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Please share your opinions in the comments below because your perspective matters. Our mission is to deliver accurate, well-researched, and compelling true crime stories, always based on credible sources. Until next time, take care, stay safe, and get ready for another gripping story coming your way soon.